Empty theaters. $200 million budgets vanishing overnight. How could Hollywood's biggest names still manage the most spectacular flops of 2026? In this video, we're uncovering the shocking disasters that studios hoped you'd forget, the star-studded failures that left critics stunned, and the hidden mistakes that cost millions. Stay until the end to see which blockbuster's collapse was so massive it changed how films will be made forever. Return to Silent Hill, 2026. When Return to Silent Hill hit theaters, horror fans anticipated a dark revival of a beloved franchise. Studios promised atmospheric tension, intricate world-building, and a nostalgic nod to the original games and films. Instead, reality was harsh. The film grossed only $59 million worldwide, far below its budget, quickly marking it as one of the year's biggest American flops. Critics praised the visual homage and set design, but the story failed to engage. Jump scares and shock value dominated, sacrificing suspense, coherence, and emotional depth. Opening weekend brought eager audiences, but by week 2, theaters were noticeably empty. Social media amplified disappointment, with memes mocking the convoluted plot, uneven pacing, and underdeveloped characters. Streaming platforms rushed to acquire the film, hoping Silent Hill enthusiasts could salvage revenue, but the theatrical damage was irreversible. Analysts noted the failure stemmed from over-reliance on nostalgia. Studios assumed brand recognition alone could guarantee success, neglecting audience need for a clear, engaging narrative. A competition from Blockbuster releases further drained attention, leaving the film overshadowed and quickly forgotten. Beyond financial losses, Return to Silent Hill became a cautionary tale about franchise fatigue. Even well-loved properties are not immune to audiences' growing discernment. The film highlighted the danger of relying solely on visuals and legacy instead of pacing, storytelling, and emotional resonance. In 2026, viewers are savvier, streaming first, and less forgiving, making engagement essential. Return to Silent Hill serves as a stark reminder: even a recognizable name and atmospheric promise cannot save a movie if the story fails to grip, cementing its status as one of the year's most notable American box office disasters. Mercy, 2026. Our Chris Pratt sci-fi thriller Mercy was billed as a summer blockbuster guaranteed to dominate theaters, but the outcome was far from merciful. Despite star power, stunning visual effects, and a story promising a high-stakes galactic adventure, the movie grossed only $54 million worldwide. Critics gave it lukewarm reviews, noting its ambitious premise but scattered execution. Audiences reacted with confusion. Trailers had promised a cinematic spectacle, yet the pacing felt inconsistent and character motivations seemed underdeveloped. Marketing emphasized grand battles and interstellar threats, but viewers often reported feeling emotionally detached, which translated into tepid word of mouth. Released in a competitive window dominated by family franchises and superhero sequels, and Mercy struggled to maintain momentum beyond the opening weekend. Streaming deals were accelerated, highlighting how modern distribution could rescue films financially, but the theatrical box office remained a glaring disappointment. Studios admitted the miscalculation. Even high-profile stars cannot guarantee audience engagement if story clarity and pacing are sacrificed for spectacle. Social media highlighted the disconnect, with memes and commentary mocking plot holes and character inconsistencies. For Hollywood executives, Mercy became a lesson in balancing ambition with audience comprehension. Star names, stunning visuals, and interstellar stakes could not replace narrative cohesion. Despite its streaming afterlife, the failure of Mercy reminds the industry that timing, storytelling, and audience connection are non-negotiable, even in 2026. One battle after another, 2026. The cameras rolled, the sets were massive, and Hollywood expected history itself to bow before this epic. One battle after another arrived with a reported budget exceeding $300 million, a number so astronomical it seemed unshakable. Yet the moment it opened, the box office numbers told a story studios weren't prepared to hear. Only around $212 million worldwide. For a historical epic built on spectacle, star power, and meticulous attention to period detail, this was catastrophic. Critics were cautiously polite, noting moments of cinematic grandeur, but audiences stayed away. The opening weekend drew strong initial interest, fueled by trailers depicting grand battles and massive set pieces. But yet by the second weekend, theaters were largely empty. Word of mouth, which Hollywood counts on to rescue mid-range blockbusters, failed to materialize. The pacing was criticized as plodding, the narrative scattered across multiple character arcs that never fully connected. Industry insiders whispered that the production had overestimated audience appetite for a long, historical saga in a market increasingly dominated by superhero and franchise films. Even the director, celebrated for previous award-winning work, couldn't convert cinematic credibility into ticket sales. Studios scrambled, cutting advertising and pushing streaming deals, but the damage was done. Social media added salt to the wound. Memes of empty seats and misfiring battles went viral within days, solidifying the film's reputation as an expensive misfire. For investors and creatives alike, the fallout was immediate. Marketing budgets evaporated in vain, and the expected return on investment became a nightmare scenario. One battle after another became a case study in Hollywood risk, showing that scale, stars, and visual splendor alone couldn't guarantee success. It's a reminder that even in 2026, when audiences are more fragmented than ever and global box office dynamics shift daily, no epic is untouchable. This failure doesn't just represent a financial loss, it challenges the way studios approach tentpole filmmaking, forcing Hollywood to reconsider how it balances spectacle with substance. Crime 101, 2026. Hollywood had pinned enormous hopes on Crime 101, with Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo leading a high-stakes crime thriller, and the film promised tense twists, heist-level stakes, and a gritty, cinematic realism that could rival the best in the genre. Yet the reality was devastating. Despite a reported budget north of $100 million, the film barely reached $72 million worldwide, an embarrassing underperformance for a movie with A-list stars. Opening weekend numbers were initially respectable, fueled by anticipation and glossy marketing campaigns highlighting elaborate heist sequences and moral ambiguity. However, critics quickly noted inconsistencies in the plot, uneven pacing, and underdeveloped character arcs. Audiences expecting adrenaline and sophistication found themselves disengaged, leaving theaters midweek and abandoning the film faster than marketing teams could react. Then social media amplified the disappointment. Memes of the cast misfiring on screen went viral, and industry insiders circulated whispers of mismanaged production and overhyped trailers. Word of mouth, a critical component of thriller success, failed to spread. Early viewers' lukewarm reviews sealed the film's fate. Studios scrambled to salvage the investment, pushing the movie onto streaming platforms within weeks, a strategy that mitigated financial losses but confirmed the theatrical collapse. Crime 101 became a textbook example of modern Hollywood risk. Star power alone, even combined with a high-concept premise and production sheen, is insufficient when storytelling falters. It raised urgent questions about the assumptions studios make regarding audience attention spans, marketing impact, and the resilience of mid-tier theatrical releases in 2026. In the end, Crime 101 was more than a disappointment. It became a cautionary tale of how even well-funded, star-studded productions can implode when narrative coherence and audience engagement are sacrificed for spectacle. The Bride, 2026. If any movie defines the term box office disaster in 2026, it is Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride. A gothic musical hybrid that promised a daring reinterpretation of classic horror, the film's worldwide gross barely reached $23 million, a number that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Studios expected a visually arresting spectacle that would attract both genre fans and general audiences. But reality diverged sharply. From the first trailer, but the marketing leaned heavily into the film's stylistic audacity, showcasing elaborate sets, choreographed sequences, and haunting visuals. Yet audiences were unprepared for a tonal mix that swung from macabre horror to whimsical musical numbers, creating confusion rather than intrigue. Critics were divided. Some praised Gyllenhaal's daring direction and performances, while others criticized the film for narrative incoherence and emotional disconnection. Theater attendance collapsed by the second week, leaving vast empty auditoriums as the cinematic promise dissolved. Social media commentary was brutal. Viewers mocked the tonal shifts and convoluted plot, memes circulated, and even fans of the director admitted to feeling alienated. Industry insiders labeled it a textbook mid-budget disaster, warning other studios about the dangers of experimental hybrid genres in a market dominated by established franchises. Streaming deals were rushed to recoup losses, yet the theatrical failure remained glaring. The Bride is more than a cautionary tale. It is a vivid illustration of how even artistry, star power, and visual spectacle cannot overcome audience confusion and misaligned expectations. The fallout rippled across Hollywood, prompting questions about the viability of ambitious, genre-bending projects in 2026, and leaving everyone wondering which upcoming blockbuster might be next to falter spectacularly. Millions were lost, reputations shaken, and Hollywood's giants reminded that even stars and spectacle can't guarantee success. These flops didn't just fail, they reshaped the way studios will take risks in 2026. Which of these disasters shocked you the most? Watch closely because the next box office bomb could be lurking just around the corner.